Understanding an Economic Development Corporation Fund. Greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to the 24th EDCF Annual Workshop. Unfortunately, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, this year we could not host the annual workshop in Korea. However, this workshop holds a great significance in that it allows us to gather around once a year and deepen the understanding of our mutual relationships. Therefore, we invite you to our program via online. Through this great opportunity, I would like to give an introduction on EDCF, one of the major Korea's ODA programs. Overall, I hope this presentation can help you get a better understanding on Korea's ODA programs, especially about EDCF. This presentation consists of the following contents. First, I'll explain what is ODA and Korea's current ODA system, followed by overview of EDCF, its financing modalities, project cycle, and case study. 1. Overview of ODA. What is ODA? Official Development Assistance, ODA, is defined by the OECD Development Assistance Committee, DAC, as government aid that promotes and specifically targets the economic development and welfare of developing countries. Precisely, ODA is granted to countries and territories on the DAC list of ODA recipients and to multilateral development institutions. It is provided by official agencies of donor countries, including state and local governments, or by their executive agencies. ODA intends to promote economic development and welfare of the developing countries in compliance with recipient countries' main objectives. Some of the examples of disqualified ODAs are military aids, promotions of donors' security interests irrelevant of UN peacekeeping mission, aids for religious goals, and transactions that primarily serve commercial objectives. Finally, ODA is concessional in character. That is, grant element is diversified according to recipient's income group, and ODA should abide by this element. For low-income countries and least developed countries, ODA's grant element should be over 45% with 9% discount rate, while grant element should be higher than 15% with 7% discount rate for low to middle income countries, and 10% with 6% discount rate for upper middle income countries. Grant elements refer to difference between loan principal and present value of repayment, which is the sum of principal and interest. As percentage supported by grant, lower interest rate, longer repayment and grace period guarantee higher grant element, more profitable for the recipient countries. If you want to calculate grant element, divide the difference between loan principal and PV of repayment by loan principal. Present value is the value of an expected income streams determined as of the date of valuation. For instance, if you borrow $10 billion with 10 years equal repayment, with discount rate 5% and no grace period, the grant element would be about 22.8%. Mainly, ODA is categorized by two types. Bilateral ODA is directly provided to recipient countries by donor countries, while multilateral ODA is supported through multilateral institutions such as UN and MDB. As you can see, bilateral ODA consists of various types. ODA can be provided through various types of finance, mainly by concessional loan and grants. Concessional loan requires repayment after grace period. Mainly, ODA loan is eligible for public infrastructure development projects. On the contrary, Grant refers to finance without repayment, and you can see the examples for grant. 2. Korea's ODA system. Next, we'll look into the Korea's ODA system and governance. The history of South Korea's ODA entails both experiences as a recipient and donor country. After Korean War in 1950s, with help from US, Korea achieved dramatic economic development by using aid for economic reconstruction and building social infrastructures. Subsequently, per capita income increased over 450-fold from 1954 to 2019. In addition, by establishing EDCF for ODA loan operation, Korea acquired position as donor countries. Then in 1991, established KOICA for ODA grants operation. In 1995 and 2000, Korea was erased respectively in the list of recipient countries by World Bank and OECD DAC, then became the member of OECD DAC in 2010. Let's look at the Korea's ODA governance structure. Ministry of Economy and Finance and Ministry of Foreign Affairs administer concessional loans and grants respectively. Korea Exim Bank, KOICA, implement concessional loans and grants respectively. And other ministries also play a role in delivering Korea's ODA, especially for grants aid and technical cooperation. And these two ODA programs are practiced in accordance to a dominant strategy for each priority partner country, called Country Partnership Strategy. With a Prime Minister as the chairman, Committee for International Development Cooperation takes role in coordinating and deciding important ODA policies such as CPS, Country Partnership Strategy. Under this ODA governance structure, Korea could fully utilize each organization's expertise and professionalism in alliance with the program planning. In comparison with other DAC donors, Korea achieved faster annual growth rates of ODA volume. As of 2018, Korea disbursed $2.4 billion for ODA, equivalent of 0.15% of GNI. 3. Overview of EDCF. From now on, I would like to give an overview of EDCF. In 1987, the Korean government established Economic Development Cooperation Fund with the purpose of promoting economic cooperation between Korea and developing countries. Drawing on Korea's own development experiences accumulated over many years, EDCF assists developing countries by providing financing to help them achieve economic development. The Fund Management Council is the highest policy-making authority of EDCF. The direction of EDCF operations and the assumption of principal policy-making responsibilities rest with the Ministry of Economy and Finance, MOEF. Entrusted by MOEF, the Korea Exim Bank is responsible for managing EDCF operations such as project appraisal, loan agreement execution, loan disbursements, and project evaluation. From now on, we will talk about organizational structure of Korea Exim Bank EDCF Group. Under Economic Development and Cooperation Fund Group, there are two groups and one independent department. First, there is EDCF Coordination Group, EDCF Planning and Coordination, EDCF Operations Cooperation Department, and MDB Operations Department are placed under. Secondly, there is EDCF Operating Group. EDCF Operating Department 1 and 2 are placed under this group. Lastly, there is one independent department, EDCF Evaluation and Operations Department. Korea Exim Bank also has an overseas network of representative offices and country directors all over the world. Operation principles of EDCF have two main pillars. First, EDCF aims at achieving sustainable growth of partner countries' development priorities, as well as promoting economic development and welfare. Second, EDCF strengthens economic ties between Korea and partner countries by extending Korea's economic fields and increase mutual economic transactions. Due to budget constraint, under the name of Midterm Fund Operation Strategy, EDCF focuses on prioritized partners and sectors. Also by ensuring a smart financial package, customized financial solutions, and comprehensive regional and sectoral development are promoted, ultimately forming collaborative partnership with domestic and international ODA institutions and private stakeholders. Since 1987, EDCF has committed $17.9 billion to 57 countries with 446 projects. In particular, in 2019, EDCF commitment amount exceeded $1 billion for the first time. This year, EDCF focuses on policy-based program and equipment loan for COVID-19 preparedness and response. In commitment by region, Asia has the highest portion, 63.7%, then Africa, 24.7%, and Latin America, 7.8% in 2019. So far, we mainly focused on Asia, where the demand for development is relatively high. But EDCF tends to expand its ODA for Africa, Latin America, and other countries, following regional diversification strategy. Looking at the commitment by sector, transportation is the highest, 36.2%, water supply and sanitation, 14.2%, and public health, 12.5% in 2019. Although it may seem that we support more to economic infrastructures that leads to the economic growth, for example, transportation, water supply, sanitation, and energy. However, social infrastructure like education and public health, government and civil society also occupied considerable proportion. EDCF will concentrate on its resources to sectors where Korean companies have comparative advantages, such as ICT, transportation, energy, and health. It aims not only to bring tangible changes in life of recipient countries' residents, but also contribute to expanding the overseas business opportunities for Korean companies. 4 priority sectors and areas are transport, energy, ICT service, and education. For transport, railways, metro, airport, and seaport. For energy, renewable power, smart grid. For ICT and service, e-government, intelligent transport system. Health, education. For education, Vocational Training Center, ICT Training Center. 4. EDCF financing modalities. Then, how does EDCF finance development projects? EDCF has various modalities, majority of which are through development project loan, providing funds to the partner government for infrastructure projects, such as road, bridge, railway, and hospital. Currently, as a response to COVID-19, EDCF is expanding support of equipment loan for equipment procurement and other material, while program loan provides funds to the partner governments to assist them in pursuing comprehensive sectorial or thematic development plans and programs. Besides, EDCF also has public-private partnership loan and other modalities. EDCF provides loans up to 100% of the total project cost, guaranteed by central government or central bank. Interest rate and repayment period are applied differently according to the country's income level, preferential sector, and Korean consulting service. Additionally, EDCF is increasing co-financing with MDBs to meet growing demands of partner countries for large-scale development projects. EDCF also strengthens cooperation with MDBs through MOU or co-financing facility with Asian Development Bank, World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, and Central American Bank for Economic Integration. As of June 20th, EDCF approved 56 co-financing projects with total commitment amount of $2.7 billion. Currently, EDCF transferred its focus from stand-alone project to program-based approach by diversifying loan facility, such as sector development loan, program loan, and project preparation facility. Aligned with SDG, EDCF assists sustainable growth by prioritizing projects dealing with climate changes, covering renewable energy, energy efficiency, and low-carbon transportation. In addition, to diversify financing for development and promote its mobilization, EDCF pursues catalyzing private investment such as PPP loan and private sector two-step loan. 5. EDCF project cycle. Now, we'll move on to EDCF project cycle. EDCF's project cycle consists of identification, project preparation and loan request, appraisal, pledge, commitment, AG, AR, FA, and loan agreement, project implementation such as employment of consultants, procurement, and disbursement, and finally, monitoring and evaluation. To specify this, you can check the procedure for each step from identification to evaluation table in the whole scape. The main purposes that are considered for project identification are aligning strategic operation of EDCF and country operation plan with midterm predictability. In this regard, the Korean government establishes country partnership strategy customized to partner countries, reflecting their individual long-term development plans and strategies. In line with such efforts, EDCF also establishes annual EDCF midterm operation strategy in 3-year basis. The paper states EDCF's ODA allocation by sector and country. Then, the government and EDCF carry out project identification through governmental policy dialogue and consultation meeting. In this process, overseas networks of EDCF play a core role in monitoring midterm pipeline for projects. Following the partner country's decision for loan approval, the government, mainly by the Ministry of Finance, officially requests the EDCF loan for implementation of a project, containing loan request, feasibility study outcomes, and implementation plan to the Korean government. Loan requests should be forwarded through a diplomatic channel. MOF officially sends the request to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The MOFA forwards request to Korean Embassy, and the Embassy transfers the request to headquarters of MOFA in Korea. Development Finance Bureau of MOEF Korea receives the request from MOFA and the Ministry requests project appraisal to EDCF. A. Preliminary review. When Korea Exim Bank EDCF is asked to appraise a project in terms of eligibility for an EDCF loan, it first confirms the country's eligibility for ODA provision according to the OECD doc. While reviewing the country's repayment risk, the project's feasibility for development, and whether the project is commercially viable or not through FS and IP. B. Project questionnaire and legal questionnaire. For successful implementation of the project, it is necessary to clearly identify the project objective and preparation status to efficiently assess the economic, financial, technical, and environmental feasibility of the project. Basic information in regard to these issues is collected via legal questionnaires, which are sent to the borrower or the project executing agency. C. Appraisal Mission Team. EDCF dispatches an appraisal mission team consisting of EDCF and external consultant to the partner country for detailed appraisal of the project. The mission team finalizes and signs the minutes of discussion (MOD) with the partner country government based on the outcomes of the appraisal. D. Preparation and submission of appraisal report to MOEF. Korea Exim Bank completes the appraisal report based on the loan request, FS report, project and legal questionnaire results, MOD, and submits related documentation to the MOEF. MOEF reviews the document and officially approves the project through consultation with other relevant ministries. Implementation process consists of 3 procedures: consultant employment, procurement, and disbursement. Employment and procurement are under the responsibility of the partner country, but should be approved by EDCF to secure the transparency of employment bidding procedures. Consultants are in charge of detailed design, supporting bidding procedures including drafting bidding documents and construction supervision. For procurement, the partner country is responsible for the implementation of the project, and project executing agency prepares specifications and evaluates bids for the procurement of goods and services for the project. EDCF reviews these activities to ensure that the procurement guidelines have been followed thoroughly. Disbursements under the loan are made according to the procedures stipulated in loan agreements and disbursement period that begins after the grace period. After all the implementations are completed, EDCF conducts reliable and independent project evaluation for ongoing and completed projects to assess the relevance, efficiency, effectiveness, impact, and sustainability of the project, providing valuable lessons to partner countries and other donor countries. First, the project executing agency should submit project completion report (PCR) within 6 months after the project completion date or a later date as shall be agreed upon in the loan agreement (LA). EDCF subsequently checks and evaluates its adequacy and conducts a project completion evaluation. 2 years after a completion evaluation, ex-post evaluation is conducted. By using various methods including interview, literature reviews, and field studies, an ex-post evaluation assesses achievement of development goals, relevance of the project, occurrence of problems in project operation and maintenance, impact on the project area, and partner country to provide necessary feedback based on the evaluation results. According to OECD EvaluNet, robust, independent evaluation of development programs provides information about what works, what does not, and why. This learning contributes to improving the development effectiveness of aid and helps hold donors and partner country governments accountable for results. 6. Case study. To introduce some of the successful cases of EDCF projects, I would first like to propose Vienna-Vinthing Bridge construction project. It aimed to connect Vinthing to Son-Tay area, strengthening accessibility for the locals. The biggest implication of this project is that the construction period was reduced to 6 months from 54 to 48 months. The mutual agreement with residents that took place in advance contributed to the shortening of this period. Active promotion of migration and land compensation process was carried out from June 2010 to December 2011. Eventually, land purchase was completed before March 2011, enabling an early kickoff of the construction process than the initial planning. It is anticipated that this project will set a great example of efficient operation of transportation infrastructure projects in Vietnam. Another successful case of EDCF projects is the hospital modernization projects in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The aim to improve the quality of medical care in Bosnia and Herzegovina was successfully carried out by successive implementation of projects. First, Project 1 was carried out to support selected university hospitals for the improvement in capacity of major hospitals. Then, in 2011, successive Project 2 accomplished to diversify the support towards numerous local hospitals, reaching out to a wider range of beneficiaries. Currently, third subsequent project is being carried out to amplify effectiveness of the aid. Furthermore, through strong analysis of political and administrative system in the partner country, EDCF cooperated with both Ministry of Health of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and Ministry of Health and Social Welfare of Republic of Srpska. Such efforts to intensify relevance of the aid generated great effectiveness. Thank you for watching so far. I hope this was a great chance to learn about EDCF. It also was a great honor and pleasure to introduce ODA in Korea and EDCF project cycle. Please feel free to reach us for further questions. Thank you.